With the NHL All-Star break officially upon us, I thought it'd be a fun idea to start the NHL playoffs that they ended today. Matchups consist of the Vancouver Canucks and the St. Louis Blues, Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers, Colorado Avalanche versus the LA Kings, Dallas Stars versus the Winnipeg Jets, over in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Bruins and the Detroit Red Wings, Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, New York Rangers, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes and the Philadelphia Flyers. So with that, let's get this video underway. After Game 1, the Canucks have a 1-0 series lead over the Blues, the Avs have a 1-0 series lead over the Kings, the Oilers have a 1-0 series lead over the Knights, Winnipeg has a 1-0 series lead over the Stars, Boston has a 1-0 series lead over the Red Wings, Toronto has a 1-0 series lead over the Rangers, the Lightning have a 1-0 series lead over the Florida Panthers, and the Philadelphia Flyers have a 1-0 series lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Right after Game 2, 2-0 Canucks over St. Louis, series tied between the Avs and the Kings, series tied between the Knights and the Oilers, series tied versus the Stars and the Jets, 2-0 Boston over Detroit, 2-0 Toronto over New York, 2-0 Tampa Bay over Florida, and 2-0 Philadelphia over Carolina. That is a shocker so far. After Game 3, many teams are taking care of business. Vancouver has a 3-0 series lead over St. Louis, Boston has a 3-0 series lead over Detroit, Toronto has a 3-0 series over New York, and Tampa Bay has a 3-0 series lead over Florida. Won't be shocked if Toronto ends up blowing that 3-0 series lead. I am sorry, Leafs fan. How other teams are doing, the Kings are up 2-1 over the Avs, Edmonton's up 1 over Vegas, Winnipeg's up 2-1 over Dallas, and the Flyers are up 2-1 over Carolina. Will we see anybody advance? Alright, after Game 4, we have two teams moving on. The Vancouver Canucks sweep the Blues, and the Toronto Maple Leafs sweep the Rangers. Red Wings and Panthers are keeping their seasons alive. Series tied between the Avs and the Kings. The Oilers are up 3-1 over Vegas. Winnipeg's up 3-1 over Dallas. Flyers are up 3-1 over Carolina. Let's simulate Game 5. Alright, after Game 5, the Avs up 3-2 over the Kings. Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Boston are all moving on. They win their series 4-1. Florida fighting for their lives. 2 in a row. 3-2 series lead for the Lightning. And the Flyers up 3-2 over the Canes. And every team has forced a Game 7. Tampa Bay was up 3-0 in their series. Just remember that. Philadelphia, Carolina tied at 3. LA and Colorado also tied at 3. Who will advance to the next round of the NHL playoffs? Wow! Wow! The Tampa Bay Lightning had a 3-0 series lead over the Florida Panthers. They lose their series. Philadelphia wins their series, and the LA Kings are moving on. They knock off Colorado. Second round matchups consist of the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, LA Kings and the Winnipeg Jets, Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers, and the Philadelphia Flyers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. What a first round! A lot of upsets. Alright, every team has played Game 1. The Oilers are up 1-0 over the Canucks, Winnipeg's up 1-0 over the Kings, Florida's up 1-0 over the Boston Bruins, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are up 1-0 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Every team has a 2-0 series lead except the Oilers and the Canucks. They're both tied at 1. Toronto with a 3-0 series lead over Philadelphia. They are 7-0 in the playoffs. Florida up 2-1 over Boston, Winnipeg up 2-1 over the Kings, and the Canucks are up 2-1 over the Oilers. And Toronto is the first team to move on. They are 8-0 in the playoffs. How about ya? Florida and Boston tied at 2. Winnipeg up 3-1 over the Kings, and the Oilers and Canucks are tied at 2. Oilers a win away from the semifinals as long as the Jets and the Bruins. And just like that, everyone moves on. Edmonton wins their series over the Canucks 4-2. Winnipeg wins their series over the Kings 4-2. Boston wins their series over the Panthers 4-2, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are on an absolute tear, 8-0 in the playoffs, sweep the Flyers 4-0. So the semifinals are going to consist of the Edmonton Oilers and Winnipeg Jets, Boston Bruins, and Toronto Maple Leafs. We have a chance to have an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final. The Canadian team has not won the Stanley Cup final since 1993. Their Game 1, Toronto is yet to lose a game. They are 9-0. Winnipeg got 1-0 over the Oilers. Toronto finally loses their first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are tied with the Boston Bruins 1-1. And Winnipeg running away with this one 2-0 over Edmonton. Edmonton Oilers clawing back 2-1 now. Winnipeg and Toronto down 2-1 over the Boston Bruins. Series tied between Winnipeg and Edmonton. Boston a win away from the Stanley Cup final. They are up 3-1 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just like that, the Maple Leafs run ends. 9 straight wins, and then they just shit the bed. 4 straight losses. They lose to the Bruins 4-1. Edmonton a win away. It's tied. Series tied 3-3. And the Winnipeg Jets come back from 3-2 down, win the series, and it's going to be Winnipeg and Boston in the Stanley Cup final. Who had that on their bingo card? Alright, let's jump into game 1 in Boston. After the first period, it's 0-0. After the second period, okay, Winnipeg, it's 4-1. And game 1 will go to the Jets, 4-1, all scoring done in the second period of play. Game 2 here in Boston, first period, it's 3-2. High scoring series. Second period, Boston ties the game up. What will happen after I click this button? Who will win the hockey game? We're going to overtime. 4-4. What will happen here? Will we go to another overtime? The Boston Bruins win it. They tie the series at 1. Now as the series shifts to Winnipeg. After the first period of play, it's 2-2. Second period of play, 4-2 Winnipeg. Will the Winnipeg Jets be able to hold on? They do. They win game 3, 4-3 over the Boston Bruins. 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup. Game 4 in Winnipeg. First period, 1-0 Winnipeg. Second period, 2-0 Winnipeg. Can Boston come back? They do. 4 unanswered goals. They win 4-2. Tie the series at 2. There'll be a game 6 in Winnipeg. Game 5 in Boston. 1-0 Winnipeg. After the second period, it's 3-1. Can they hold on? They do. Boston, must-win situation, headed into Game 6 in Winnipeg. What will happen? We'll find out now. Game 6 in Winnipeg. First period, 2-2. Second period, 3-2 Boston. Let's start simmering along. The third period of play, Winnipeg ties it up 3-3. That was quick. Can Winnipeg get another one? Or can Boston get another one? Game 6, Boston needs to win. Winnipeg, a win gets them the Stanley Cup. What will happen here in Game 6? 4-3 Jets. Now, Boston desperately needing a goal. Down 3 with 7 minutes left. We're going to go ahead and pause the game here. It's 5-3 Winnipeg pulling along. We're going to pause the game here and we're going to jump in and watch this game live. CPU versus CPU game. Stanley Cup final game 6. Winnipeg up 3-2 in the series. They're up 5-3 in the game. Can Boston rally, get 2 goals, force overtime, and possibly even win it in regulation? Doubtful. But try and force overtime and win it there. See what will happen here. 4 minutes, 36 seconds to go. The Winnipeg Jets, it's a whiteout here. We are underway. What will happen here as Pasternak brings it up the boards. Shot save made. Hellebuck, they pass it out to DeMello. Winnipeg just going to try and kill as much clock as they can. Stolen away by Zacha. Shot on net. Save Allmark. Back to Pasternak. Pasternak up the ice. Fancy moves. That's a shot go save. Hellebuck, a minute 42 seconds to go. Time's a wasting for the Boston Bruins. And there it is, the Stanley Cup. Winnipeg trying to bring a Stanley Cup to Canada for the first time since the Montreal Canadiens did it back in '93. Can the Jets hold on? Very likely. Face-off won by Winnipeg. They take it up the ice to Ehlers. Fancy moves at center ice. A minute left in this one. Ehlers lets a shot go somehow. Save Allmark. Grzelcyk behind the net. McAvoy, 26 seconds left. Boston just needs a goal. Net empty for Boston now. A shot by Pasternak stopped. And a penalty coming to Winnipeg with 19.5 seconds to go. I don't think it's going to really put an impact on the game, though. Boston with 19.4 seconds on the clock. They need 2 goals. They're on the power play. They need 2 goals, though. Not looking good. Face-off won by Winnipeg. Launched down the ice. Boston going to try and establish a rush one last time. Stolen away. Winnipeg gets it. They're going to launch down the ice again. Boston is offside. 9.3 to go. Need 2 goals in 9 seconds. is not looking too hot for the Boston Bruins. Looks like they're going to lose another Stanley Cup. The Winnipeg Jets, 8 seconds left. A shot fired towards the empty net, misses wide. Boston with a good run. The Winnipeg Jets are the Stanley Cup champions. For the first time in their history, the Winnipeg Jets win the Stanley Cup. Cole Perfetti, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. According to NHL 24, the season ended on February 1st. The time I'm recording this video, the Winnipeg Jets will win. Here comes the Stanley Cup for the Winnipeg Jets, the first Canadian team to win the Cup since 1993. Adam Laurie coming up to claim the Stanley Cup for the Winnipeg Jets. And the Winnipeg Jets are officially Stanley Cup champions for the first time in their history. They win the series 4-2 of the Boston Bruins. They win the game 5-3. What a series. What a playoffs. What a video. Leading the league in goals was David Pastrnak. He had 15. Connor McDavid had 14. Austin Matthews below him with 12. Draisaitl with 10. Charlie Coyle with 10. Leading the playoffs in shutouts was Linus Ullmark with 2, as long as Bobrovsky with 2, Talbot had 1, and Kochetkov had 1. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We are really close to 300 subscribers on the channel. 11 away from the time I filmed this. I'm not going to beg you to, but if you could drop a subscription, that would be really appreciated, but I'm not going to beg you guys to. Thank you guys all so very much for watching this video today. Really appreciate it. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.